In hell. Take in as much air as you can. This story should last about as long as you can hold your breath, and then just a little bit more. So listen as fast as you can. A friend of mine, when I was 13 years old, had heard about pegging. This is when a guy gets banged up the butt with a dildo. Stimulate the prostate gland hard enough, and the rumor is you can have explosive hands-free orgasms. At that age, this friend's a little sex maniac. He's always jonesing for a better way to get his rocks off. He goes out and buys a carrot and some petroleum jelly to conduct a little private research. Then he pictures how it's going to look at the supermarket checkout counter. The lonely carrot and the petroleum jelly rolling down the conveyor belt towards a grocery store cashier. All the shoppers waiting in line, watching. Everyone seeing the big evening he has planned. So my friend, he buys milk and eggs and sugar and a carrot. All the ingredients for a carrot cake. And Vaseline. Like he's going home to stick a carrot cake up his butt. At home, he whittles the carrot into a blunt tool. He slathers it with grease and grinds his ass down on it. Then, nothing. No orgasm. Nothing happens except it hurts. Then, this kid, his mom yells at supper time. She says to come down right now. He works the carrot out and stashes a slippery, filthy thing in the dirty clothes under his bed. After dinner, he goes to find the carrot. And it's gone. All his dirty clothes, while he ate dinner, his mom grabbed them all to do the laundry. No way could she not find that carrot, carefully shaped with a paring knife from her kitchen, still shiny with lube and stinky. This friend of mine, he waits months under a black cloud, waiting for his folks to confront him. And they never do, ever. Even now that he's grown up, that invisible carrot hangs over every Christmas dinner, every birthday party, every Easter egg hunt with his kids, his parents' grandkids. That ghost carrot is hovering over all of them. That's something too awful to name. People in French have a phrase, staircase wit, or how French say, l'esprit de l'escret. It means that moment when you find the answer, but it's too late. Say you're at a party and someone insults you. You have to say something, so under pressure with everybody watching, you say something lame. But the moment you leave the party, as you start down the stairway, then magic. You come up with the perfect thing you should have said, the perfect crippling put-down. That's the spirit of the staircase. The trouble is, even the French don't have a phrase for the stupid things you actually say under pressure. Those stupid, desperate things you actually think or do. Some deeds are too low to even get a name. Too low to even get talked about. Looking back, kid psych experts, school counselors now say that most of the last peak in teen suicides was kids trying to choke themselves while they beat off. Their folks would find them, a towel twisted around the kid's neck, the towel tied to a rod in the bedroom closet, the kid dead. Dead sperm everywhere. Of course the folks cleaned up. They put some pants on their kid. They made it look better. Intentional, at least. The regular kind of sad teen suicide. Another friend of mine, a kid from school, his older brother, who was in the Navy, said how guys in the Middle East jacked off differently than they do here. This brother was stationed in some camel country where the public market sells what could be fancy letter openers. Each fancy tool is just a thin rod of polished brass or silver, maybe as long as the hand, with a big tip at the end. Either a big metal ball or the kind of fancy carved handle you'd see on a sword. The Navy brother said how Arab guys get their dick hard and then they insert the metal rod inside the whole length of their boner. They jack off with the rod inside and it makes getting off so much better, more intense. It's this big brother who travels around the world sending back French phrases, Russian phrases, helpful jack-off tips. After this, the little brother one day he doesn't show up for school. That night he called to ask if I would pick up his homework for the next couple weeks, because he's in the hospital. He's got to share a room with old people getting their guts worked on. He says how they all have to share the same television. All he's got for privacy is a curtain. His folks don't come and visit. He says how right now his folks could just kill his big brother in the Navy. The kid says how the day before he was just a little stoned. At home in his bedroom, he was flopping on the bed. He was lighting a candle and flipping through some old porno magazines, getting ready to beat off. This is after he's heard from his Navy brother. That helpful hint about how Arabs beat off. The kid looks around for something that might do the job. A ballpoint pen's too big, a pencil's too big and rough, but dripping down the side of the candle there's a thin, smooth ridge of wax that just might work. With just the tip of one finger, this kid snaps a long ridge of wax off the candle. He rolled it smooth between the palm of his hands, long and smooth and thin. Stoned and horny, he slips it down inside, deeper and deeper into the piss slot of his boner, with a good chunk of the wax still poking out the top. He gets to work. Even now, he says those Arab guys are pretty damn smart. They've totally reinvented jacking off. Flat on his back in bed, things are getting so good this kid can't keep track of the wax. He's one good squeeze from shooting his wad when the wax isn't sticking out anymore. The thin wax rod had slipped inside, all the way inside. So deep inside you can't even feel the lump of it inside his piss tube. From downstairs his mom shouts it's supper time. She says to come down right now. This wax kid and the carrot kid are different people, but we all live pretty much the same lives. It's after dinner when the kid's guts start to hurt. It's wax, so he figured it would just melt inside him and he'd pee it out. Now his back hurts. It's his kidneys. He can't stand straight. This kid talked on the phone from the hospital bed. In the background you could hear bells ding, people screaming. The x-rays show the truth. Something long and thin, bent double inside his bladder. This long, thin V inside him. It's collecting all the minerals in his piss. It's getting bigger and rougher, coated with crystals of calcium. It's bumping around, ripping up the soft liner of his bladder, blocking his piss from getting out. His kidneys are backed up. What little that did leak out his dick is red with blood. This kid and his folks, his whole family, them looking at the black x-ray with the doctor and the nurses standing there, the big V of wax glowing white for everyone to see. He has to tell the truth. The way Arabs get off. What his big brother wrote him from the Navy. On the phone right now, he starts to cry. They paid for the bladder operation with his college fund. One stupid mistake and now he's never gonna be a lawyer. Sticking stuff inside yourself. Sticking yourself inside stuff. A candle in your dick, or your head in a noose. We knew it was gonna be big trouble. What got me in trouble? I called it pearl diving. This meant whacking off underwater, sitting at the bottom of the deep end of your parents' swimming pool. With one deep breath, I'd kick my way to the bottom and slip off my swim trunks. I'd sit down there for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Just from jerking off, I had huge lung capacity. If I had the house to myself, I'd do this all afternoon. After I'd finally pump out my stuff, my sperm, it would hang there in big, fat, milky gobs. After that was more diving to catch it all, to collect it and wipe each handful in a towel. That's why it's called pearl diving. Even with chlorine, there was my sister to worry about. Or Christ almighty, my mom. That used to be my worst fear in the world. My teenage virgin sister thinking she's just getting fat, then giving birth to a 2-headed retarded baby. Both heads looking just like mine. Me, the father, and the uncle. In the end, it's never what you worry about that gets you. The best part was getting naked and sitting on it. As the French would say, who doesn't like getting their butt sucked? Still, one minute you're just a kid jerking off, and the next minute, you'll never be a lawyer. One minute I'm settling on the pool bottom, and the sky is wavy, light blue through 8 feet of water above my head. The world is silent except for the heartbeat in my ears. My yellow striped swim trunks are looped around my neck for safekeeping, just in case a friend or neighbor, anybody shows up to ask why I skipped football practice. The steady suck of the pool inlet hole is lapping at me, and I'm grinding my skinny white ass around on that feeling. One minute I've got enough air and my dick in my hand, my folks are gone at their work, and my sister's got ballet. Nobody's supposed to be home for hours. My hand brings me right to getting off, and I stop. I swim up to catch another big breath. I dive down and settle on the bottom. I do this again and again. This must be why girls want to sit on your face. The suction is like taking a dump that never ends. My dick hard and getting my butt eaten out. I do not need air. I stay under until bright stars of light start worming around my eyes. My legs straight out, the back of each knee rubbing raw against the concrete bottom. My toes are turning blue. My toes and fingers wrinkle from being so long in the water. And then I let it happen. The big white gobs start spouting. The pearls. It's then I need some air. But when I go to kick off against the bottom, I can't. I can't get my feet under me. My ass is stuck. Emergency paramedics will tell you that every year about 150 people get stuck this way, sucked by a circulation pump. Get your long hair caught or your ass and you're going to drown. Every year, tons of people do. Most of them in Florida. People just don't talk about it. Not even French people talk about everything. Getting one knee up, getting one foot tucked under me. I get to half standing when I feel a tug against my butt. Getting my other foot under me, I kick off against the bottom. I'm kicking free, not touching the concrete, but not getting to the air either. Still kicking water, thrashing with both arms. I'm maybe halfway to the surface, but not getting higher. The heartbeat inside my head getting louder and faster. The bright sparks of light crossing and crisscrossing my eyes. I turn and look back, but it doesn't make sense. This thick rope, some kind of snake, blue-white and braided with veins, has come up out of the pool drain and is holding me by the butt. Some of the veins are leaking blood, red blood that looks black underwater, and drifts away from little rips in the pale skin of the snake. The blood trails away, disappearing in the water, and inside the snake's thin, blue-white skin, you can see lumps of some half-digested meal. That's the only way this makes sense. Some horrible sea monster, a sea serpent, something that's never seen the light of day, has been hiding in the dark bottom of the pool drain, waiting to eat me. So I kicked at it, at the slippery, rubbery, knotted skin and veins of it, and more of it seems to pull out of the pool drain. It's maybe as long as my leg now, but still holding tight around my butthole. With another kick, I'm an inch closer to getting another breath. Still feeling the snake tugging my ass, I'm an inch closer to my escape. Knotted inside the snake, you could see corn and peanuts. You can see a long, bright orange ball. It's the kind of horse pill vitamin my dad makes me take to help put on weight to get a football scholarship with extra iron and omega-3 fatty acids. It's seeing that vitamin pill that saves my life. It's not a snake. It's my large intestine. My colon pulled out of me. What doctors call prolapsed. It's my gut sucked into the drain. Paramedics will tell you that swimming pool pumps pull 80 gallons of water every minute. That's about 400 pounds of pressure. The big problem is we're all connected together inside. Your ass is just the far end of your mouth. If I let go, the pump keeps working, unraveling my insides until it's got my tongue. Imagine taking a 400-pound shit, and you can see how that might turn you inside out. What I can tell you is your guts don't feel much pain, not the way your skin feels pain. The stuff you're digesting, doctors call it fecal matter. Higher up is chyme, pockets of a thin, runny mess studded with corn and peanuts and round green peas. That's all this soup of blood and corn, shit and sperm and peanuts floating around me. Even with my guts unraveling out my ass, me holding on to what's left, even then my first want is to somehow get my swimsuit back on. God forbid my folks see my dick. My one hand holding a fist around my ass, my other hand snags my yellow striped swim trunks and pulls them from around my neck. Still, getting into them is impossible. You want to fill your intestines? Go buy a pack of those lambskin condoms. Take one out and unroll it, pack it with peanut butter, smear it with petroleum jelly and hold it underwater. Then try to tear it. Try to pull it in half. It's too tough and rubbery. It's so slimy you can't hold on. A lambskin condom, that's just plain old intestine. You can see what I'm up against. You let go for a second, and you're gutted. You swim for the surface for a breath, and you're gutted. You don't swim, and you drown. It's a choice between being dead right now or a minute from right now. What my folks will find after work is a big naked fetus curled in on itself, floating in the cloudy water of their backyard pool, tethered to the bottom by a thick rope of veins and twisted guts. The opposite of a kid hanging himself to death while he jacks off. This is the body they brought home from the hospital 13 years ago. Here's the kid they hoped would snag a football scholarship and get an MBA, who'd care for them in their old age. Here's all their hopes and dreams, floating here naked and dead. All around him, big milky pearls of wasted sperm. Either that or my folks will find me wrapped in a bloody towel, collapse halfway from the pool to the kitchen telephone. The ragged, torn scraps of my guts still hanging out the leg of my yellow striped swim trunks. What even the French won't talk about. That big brother in the Navy, he taught us one other good phrase, a Russian phrase. The way we say, I need that like I need a hole in the head. Russian people say, I need that like I need teeth in my asshole. Those stories about how animals caught in a trap will chew off their leg, well, any coyote would tell you a couple bites beats the hell out of being dead. Hell, even if you're Russian, someday you just might want those teeth. Otherwise, what you have to do is you have to twist around. You hook one elbow behind your knee and pull your leg up to your face. You bite and snap at your own ass. You run out of air and you will chew through anything to get that next breath. It's not something you want to tell a girl on the first date. Not if you expect to kiss goodnight. If I told you how it tasted, you would never ever again eat calamari. It's hard to say what my parents were more disgusted by. How I'd got in trouble or how I'd saved myself. After the hospital, my mom said, "You didn't know what you were doing, honey. You were in shock." And then she learned how to make poached steaks. All those people grossed out or feeling sorry for me. I need that like I need teeth in my asshole. Nowadays, people always tell me I look too skinny. People at dinner parties get all quiet and pissed off when I don't eat the pot roast they cooked. Pot roast kills me. Baked ham, anything that hangs around inside my gut for longer than a couple hours. It comes out still food. Home-cooked lima beans or chunk-light tuna fish. I'll stand up and find it still sitting there in the toilet. After you have a radical bowel resection, you don't digest meat so great. Most people, you have 5 feet of large intestine. I'm lucky to have my 6 inches. So I never got a football scholarship, never got an MBA. Both my friends, the wax kid and the carrot kid, they grew up, got big, but I've never weighed a pound more than I did the day when I was 13. Another big problem was my folks paid a lot of good money for the swimming pool. In the end, my dad just told the pool guy it was a dog. The family dog fell in and drowned, the dead body got pulled into the pump. Even when the pool guy cracked open the filter casing and fished out a rubbery tube, a watery chunk of intestine with a big orange vitamin pill still inside, even then my dad said, "That dog was fucking nuts." Even from my upstairs window, you could hear my dad say, "We couldn't trust that dog alone for a second." Then, my sister missed her period. Even after they changed the pool water, after they sold the house and we moved to another state, after my sister's abortion, even then my folks never mentioned it again. Ever. That is our invisible carrot. And you? Now you can take a good deep breath. I still haven't.